I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that opened the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American people about Joe Biden's middle facility for the office. You are interviewing me, Dana, because I respect the American people enough to sit down for an interview.
I appreciate that.
Kamala Harris has been the nominee for 3 weeks. She hasn't sat down for a real interview.
Believe me, we are asking. You're not going to get a disagreement there.
But the point is, Dana, you've got me for 15 minutes or however long you have me. We should be talking about public policies that matter. How are we going to lower inflation? How are we going to reduce the cost of food and housing? How are we going to close down that southern border? We've talked so little about that.
J.D. Vance makes an excellent point regarding issues that the media should be asking Kamala Harris, but them not being able to due to her refusal to do any interviews since becoming the presumptive Democrat nominee. Vance is very strategic when discussing Kamala's failures and makes the argument that she should have enough respect for the American people to do an interview to address her candidacy and policies, but she has zero respect for Americans. Vance bringing Kamala's failures to light gives the American people a better understanding of what type of candidate Kamala Harris really is.
Why did Kamala Harris choose a person who has lied about their military service? I think that is a serious lapse in judgment, and I don't want to hear from a campaign spokesperson of Kamala Harris. I want to hear Kamala Harris herself address what I just said. The truth is that Tim Walz didn't tell the truth, and importantly, Dana, this is about Kamala Harris's judgment. And I think that when you ask, why has Kamala Harris allowed the border to be wide open? Why has Kamala Harris supported policies that have promoted the increase in inflation? I think it goes to the heart of her judgment.
J.D. Vance focusing on Kamala Harris's judgment, or lack thereof, is a brilliant move on his end. Pointing out her inability to choose a respectable vice president as her running mate is a prime example of how poor of judgment Kamala truly has. There's truth behind the saying that you can judge the character of a person by the people they surround themselves with. Tim Walz is a liar and a fraud, and the American people are waking up to see Kamala in the exact way.
I want to move on to something that Governor Walz has called you and Donald Trump, and that is weird.
Sure.
And it is taken off. The New York Times reports that when Donald Trump was asked about it, he said, "Not me, they're talking about JD."
Well, certainly they've levied that charge against me more than anybody else, but I think that it drives home how they're trying to distract from their own policy failures. I mean, look, this is fundamentally schoolyard bully stuff. They can accuse me of whatever they want to accuse me of. As Harry S. Truman once said, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. And I'm doing this because I think that me being vice president will help improve people's lives. So I accept their attacks, but I think that it is a little bit of projection. So I think that what it is two people, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who aren't comfortable in their own skin because they aren't comfortable with their policy positions for the American people. And so they're name calling instead of actually telling the American people how they're going to make their lives better. I think that's weird, Dana, but look, they can call me whatever they want to.
Let's talk about some things that are weird. We think it's weird that Democrats want to put sexually explicit books in toddlers' libraries. We think it's weird that the far left wants to allow biological males to beat the living crap out of women in boxing. We think it's weird for a presidential candidate to bail convicted rapists and murderers out of prison, and that's what Kamala Harris did.
I think that it's absolutely hilarious when the Democrat Party started to use the talking point of calling Republicans weird. It is absolute gaslighting coming from them, especially because the Democrat Party are the ones who have absolutely weird policies and people. Anytime that Democrats accuse Republicans of doing something or being something negative, just assume that they are simply deflecting and are actually the ones in the bad light. The Democrat Party is full of weirdos and freaky people that any normal American citizen would see and want to avoid at all costs. The Democrat Party's accusations are dangerous and absurd because they attempt to gaslight the American people into thinking that a normal American citizen is weird, but then try to normalize all the freaky things that they do.